The terrestrial, as I read Bruno Latour in his book Down to Earth, it was really, really gave me some new ways to think about it. I want to read this quote. There is no Earth corresponding to the infinite horizon of the globe, but at the same time, the local is much too narrow, too shrunken, to accommodate the multiplicity of beings belonging to the terrestrial world. This show began with a conversation with Lori and Daryl several years ago. I was writing my book, Wall Stories, and we were talking about the work that we had done together, especially in relationship to this neighborhood and the Filipino American community. And then COVID came, and years passed, and I know that we all know about that. But this last year, right around there, during COVID, Lori and I started to talk again about the show and opening the Luggage store back up. This is the 35th anniversary of the Luggage store, so let's give it a round. That's a long time, 35 years. And as we know, people who know the Luggage store and Lori and Daryl and the work they do in all through this neighborhood, this is a cultural treasure to San Francisco. And I love it so much. And we go back to the 80s. I did my first mural, and I did the first mural in the $10 National Forest, and as Lori said, exhibitions. And so it's really, I don't think this show could have happened anywhere else, just with the history that we have, and the way that we understand where we're coming from in our work. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to you. So I have been doing work in this neighborhood for 4 decades, and I have been working on this book, Wall Stories, because my work is definitely a combination, it's multidisciplinary, and I've done a lot of public projects, collaborative, improvised projects, along with my own studio practice. And the fact that this book was also published by the Luggage store through the Andy Warhol Foundation is deeply meaningful to me. This show, however, is a personal story. That's not something that I've done before, is go to tell the story of my personal experience of my formative years in the Philippines and how that influenced all the work that I've done. Most of the work that I've done in the Bay Area has been about telling Filipino American stories. I arrived in San Francisco and I looked at the mission and I saw beautiful murals. I actually got inspired to do murals in public art in Chicago. But when I came to the Bay Area, I saw the mission and the Tres Grandes, the Mexican mural movement, muralism as a form of working. And I thought, well, that's pretty covered. And I looked at the South Market Cultural Center and South Market area, 40% Filipino population. And I didn't see any murals to speak of. And so I said, this is where I want to work. So I started doing that. And since then, I've met, so many people in the community, people who are here, Trisha, and we did the show years and years ago, Sister Sweetie Sister, Babaylan, and Leanne most recently. We knew each other previously, but we worked at the Ireland House. But also Diwa, I worked with Barianix, Jennifer Wofford on the galleon train going back to the Philippines, creating new artistic relationships with artists in the Philippines. Chris and I did pieces there, performances. So there's a long history there. And one thing I want to do is I'm going to read just a few things because somehow this makes it clearer. And I also have new friends here, Kat Gutierrez and Christina, and we're going to be doing a piece at the Santa Cruz Museum on place setting. So this is what I want to read, just this paragraph. Place setting. I had a dream. Enormous black horses like knights from a chess game rode in with faceless men in dark suits sitting high on their saddles. They blocked the entrance to a piece of land with green grass. I looked up, frozen in place. Then a lovely thing happened. Moms dressed in luminous white robes took me by the hand and guided me into the park across the grass in a gesture of pakisama. Back in the world of flesh and fog, I looked like a mommy myself in my plaid shirt and black knit cap, walking gingerly along the planks of my mural mountain. The stateside tales of mountain province Ifugao run up and down the terraces of Al Robles' poems, conjured up in the windy streets of downtown San Francisco. The Manongs, elderly Filipino men, carried these visions in their bodies, telling stories and holding fertility amulets close to their skin. Whispers of the center of the world and 1,000 stray islands passed through bowls of fish soup, shared in rundown brick buildings that no one else wanted to live in. There, in tiny rooms, the Manongs painted a cosmology of their distant land, offering it to the descendants of many migrations. Men looking for work in the corners of the colonial empire that would feed their dreams.